Muri Zimbabwe, the silent general enters the arena. Again, Mnangagwa plays his most dangerous card yet. Tiripo pano pamuzinda wevanhu, Zimbabwe's boldest voice. Hold on tight. Zimbabwe, because what just happened on May 11, 2026 is not a routine political appointment. This is not some ceremonial title handed to a retired soldier to keep him comfortable in his old age. No. What President Emmerson Mnangagwa has just done by officially bringing retired General Valerio Sibanda into the ZANU-PF Politiburo is a calculated, deliberate, and deeply consequential power move. And if you don't understand why, then pull up a chair, because pano pamuzinda wevanhu, we are about to break it all the way down. Right? Who is Gwenzi? Know the man before you judge the move. Right? Before we get into the politics, you need to understand who this man actually is. Because General Valerio Sibanda is not some political lightweight being dressed up in a suit and sent to a boardroom. This man fought in the Liberation War. His war name, the name he carried in the trenches, was Gwenzi. He served as a combatant in ZIPRA, the military wing of PF ZAP, the part that stood shoulder to shoulder with ZANU-PF in the fight against Rhodesian minority rule. Zimbabwe, that history matters enormously in Zimbabwe's political calculus, and it never stops mattering. ZIPRA's legacy is the legacy of Matabeleland, of the western provinces of a region whose loyalty ZANU-PF has spent decades trying to consolidate. Right, at 71, Sibanda exits the force with a reputation for professionalism and restraint, qualities that earned him respect even among rivals. He took command of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces in 2017, the same year the military coup removed Robert Mugabe from power. That appointment placed him at the very epicenter of Zimbabwe's most dramatic political moment in decades. And he navigated it without public scandal, without faction, and without ego. For nearly a decade, he has led Zimbabwe's army in near total silence. But make no mistake, quiet does not mean weak. Quiet means strategic, right? This appointment has a backstory, and it's wild, Zimbabwe. Here's what most people covering this story are not telling you. This is not the first time Mnangagwa has tried to bring back Sibanda into the Politiburo, not even close. Back in 2023, Mnangagwa made a shock announcement at the ZANU-PF National People's Conference in Gweru, appointing Sibanda as an ex-officio member of the Politiburo. The reaction was immediate and fierce. Constitutional experts and opposition figures condemned the move as a violation of the constitution, which requires security forces to remain non-partisan. Angachiri General Papa. Right? Section 208(3) of the Zimbabwe Constitution explicitly states that members of the security services must not be members of any political party or organization. The backlash was so severe that Mnangagwa was forced to reverse course. Through a statement issued by George Charamba, the president announced he was deferring Sibanda's appointment until his term as the senior officer at the helm of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces concluded. Right. Within weeks, Sibanda's name was quietly removed from the Politiburo list, a rare retreat that exposed the growing tension between Mnangagwa's political maneuvers and constitutional restraint. That was 2023. Mnangagwa blinked then. He is not blinking now, because this time Sibanda is retired. The constitutional objection is gone. The barrier that lawyers used to block this move has been dismantled by time itself. Banabev, masadza eaters. Right. And Mnangagwa, who has been patient, watching and waiting, he has walked right through the open door. Why now? 3 reasons. This is the move of the moment. First, the third term pressure. This appointment lands on May 11, 2026, days before what many are calling the most consequential legislative moment in Zimbabwe's modern history. Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 is the elephant in every room in Harare. If Mnangagwa wants to extend his presidency beyond constitutional limits, he needs more than parliamentary votes. He needs institutional backing. He needs the military establishment on his side in a way that is visible, public, and undeniable. Bringing the former ZDF commander into the Politburo, the party's supreme decision-making board, is a statement to every faction, every general, and every wavering MP. The army and the party are aligned. Second, the Chiwenga factor. Mnangagwa's appointment of Sibanda was seen as an attempt to draw the military closer to civilian politics and, crucially, to weaken Chiwenga's influence. Vice President Constantino Chiwenga himself is a former ZDF commander, is a political heavyweight with his own ambitions and his own loyalists within the military. By bringing Sibanda into the Politburo, Mnangagwa is essentially installing a counterweight to Chiwenga from within. Sibanda and Chiwenga are not natural allies. They come from different liberation war movements, different regional bases, and different political temperaments. This appointment puts a second retired general in the room, and that changes the entire factional geometry of ZANU-PF's inner sanctum. Zimbabwe. Third, succession mathematics. President Mnangagwa is reportedly favoring General Sibanda to succeed him and is seemingly paving the way for his entry into ZANU-PF politics. As the 2028 succession race gathers pace, General P.V. Sibanda's next move will be pivotal. Whether as a statesman, strategist, or political player, his transition from soldier to politician could redefine the power matrix in Zimbabwe. If Mnangagwa cannot extend his own term, or even if he can, he wants his men positioned to carry the torch. Sibanda, with his Zipra background, his national credibility, and his reputation for calm under pressure, is that man. The constitutional question, dead or alive. Now that Sibanda is retired, the constitutional barrier that stopped this in 2023 no longer exists. The difference between Sibanda and Chiwenga's case is that Chiwenga resigned from the army to participate in civilian politics actively, and that is precisely what has now happened with Sibanda. He has traded his camouflage for party card, and this time the law cannot stop him. But let's be real, Zimbabwe. The constitutional question was never purely legal. Political analyst Rashwit Mukundu told the Africa Report that inclusion of top army officials into ZANU-PF leadership positions is meant to ensure the party controls all key institutions, warning of the starting point of a one-party state which Mugabe preached about since 1980. Zimbabwe. That warning is more relevant today than ever. The blurring of the line between the barracks and the boardroom is not accidental. It is the architecture of a system that wants no daylight between military power and political power. Former Foreign Minister Walter Mzembe captured it best. He described the appointment as a poisoned chalice, warning that sitting inside the Politburo where the fate of opposition parties is plotted and decided creates conflict for a military commander, no matter how professional he may want to be seen. Murubabata. Right, the silent general speaks louder than you think. Here is the detail that should keep every political watcher in Zimbabwe awake tonight. General Sibanda has never worn party regalia in public. Through years of conference appearances, national events, and political gatherings, he maintained the discipline of a soldier, present, watchful, but never partisan. He never played to the cameras. He never made speeches that sounded like campaign rallies. He was the general who commanded by not commanding the spotlight. The restraint is now his greatest political asset. In a ZANU-PF Politburo filled with loud, scared, factionally compromised figures, Mnangagwa wants Sibanda near enough to guarantee loyalty, but not too powerful to become his own center of gravity. The question analysts are asking, the one that will define Zimbabwe's next chapter, is whether the silent general will remain Mnangagwa's instrument or whether he will, in time, become his own force. His first Politburo contributions will be watched like a hawk. Every word, every vote, every silence, because in Zimbabwe's political theater, what you don't say is sometimes the loudest thing in the room. Right, the bigger picture, Zipra, unity in the West. Sibanda's Zipra background is not a footnote. It is a central pillar of why this appointment makes strategic sense beyond the factional chess match. The Unit Accord of 1987, the deal that merged ZAP into ZANU-PF and theoretically ended the devastating Gukurahundi era, remains the foundational document of Zimbabwe's internal national reconciliation. Matabeleland has never fully forgotten what was done to it in the 1980s, and ZANU-PF has always needed credible Zipra figures in positions of visible power to maintain the facade of genuine national unity. General Sibanda, celebrated liberation fighter, Zipra commander, hero of the Western provinces, serves that narrative perfectly. His presence in the Politiburo is a message to Matabeleland. You have a voice at the table. Whether that voice will be heard or merely displayed is, of course, another question entirely. Right, the bottom line, Zimbabwe, this is only the beginning. The appointment of retired General Philip Valerio Sibanda to the ZANU-PF Politiburo, effective May 11, 2026, is not the end of a story. It is the opening chapter of what could be the most consequential political realignment Zimbabwe has seen since the 2017 coup. Mnangagwa has played a long game to get here. He tried in 2023 and was forced to retreat. He waited for Sibanda to retire. He watched the constitutional clock tick down. And now, with the third term debate boiling, with Chiwenga circling, and with the 2028 succession race already underway beneath the surface, he has made his move. The question Zimbabwe must now ask is simple. Whose move is next? Pano pamzinda wevanhu, we will be watching every single one of mamoves anenge achiitwa. Subscribe to the channel of the people, the page for the people, Zimbabwe's boldest political voice. Drop your take in the comments. Is Sibanda the future of Zimbabwe, or is he Mnangagwa's political chess piece? Let us know. Peace.